everyone, and welcome to Adoptions from the Heart TV. I'm your host, Amanda Aliberti. Today we are joined by Clayton, who is an adoptee and just turned 18, if I recall, and we'd like to welcome him to share his story. So, hello, Clayton. How are you?
I'm doing all right. You?
I'm good. Thank you for coming on this platform and being able to share your experience with adoption over the years. Clayton, can you start by telling us, if you can remember, when was the first time you recall your parents talking to you about your adoption story?
Well, as far as I can remember, my parents have always told me that I've been adopted. I don't have any recollection of them ever trying to delay the question. They just always have told me that.
So it sounds like growing up, it was very normalized. They talked a lot about, the word adoption and birth parent. Those were all things that were discussed in your household?
Yeah, they were.
Okay. Now, what had you been told along the years about your story and specifically your birth family?
Well, I'd say starting off that I wasn't really told much. I was just told about I have parents, but I never really gone really deeper. It wasn't until recently where I figured out that I realized that I have a half brother and two half sisters. It wasn't until a couple of years ago I realized that, and I got to meet some of them. It wasn't until recently where I got to meet my birth mom and stuff. So yeah, it's about how much as I know.
How old were you when you first met your birth mom?
I honestly don't remember. I think maybe it was 6 years ago, something like that.
Okay.
I have a picture.
She's beautiful. How did it feel, Clayton, when you first met her? What was going through your mind? Were you nervous, scared, overwhelmed, excited?
Personally, I don't remember, honestly. I can see from picture, I was a bit young then, so yeah. I don't really have a recollection.
Sure. How do you feel today when you think about having a birth mom and then you have your mom and dad? How does your birth mom fit into your life? How do you view her?
She's my biological mother, but Denise, I see her as my real mother.
Sure. Denise is the mother that you have grown up around. She's the mother that's loved you and cared for you and been there for you. When you understand your story of why your birth mom placed you for adoption, what do you think about? What are the reasons why, if someone were to ask you, why did your birth mom choose adoption for you? What do you think that answer is?
My parents have told me that basically she was really even supporting herself and Samantha. And so it just wouldn't have been good economically and possibly mentally. So she put me up for adoption. So
financially, it would have been really challenging for her to parent you as well as the child she was already parenting. You mentioned Samantha, your sibling, who your birth mom went on to continue parenting. What has been your relationship with her?
Honestly, I haven't really seen her. I haven't seen her in a long time. I barely even remember her.
Okay. Is it something that maybe you're hoping to explore more? Maybe one day have a closer relationship with her?
Yeah, I think that would be interesting. Yeah, see how it goes.
Okay.
Be open to it, I'd be open to it as well.
So I'm going to ask you a question that oftentimes folks will wonder. Did you ever growing up feel like you would have rather been like Samantha and stayed with your birth mom?
Honestly, I don't think I ever have, no.
Okay.
Personally, for me, that I've always been comfortable here. My parents have thankfully provided me a good house, a good roof to live under, good food, a warm bed to sleep every night. I got friends I'm with. I have a nice school I go to. I have hobbies I do, interests. I'm going to college soon. So personally, I'm fine where I am right now. I've never really thought about what it would be like to live with my brother.
Yeah. So it sounds like your family has given you a lot of love, support. You've really enjoyed your life growing up there.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I know your birth mom has placed other children for adoption. You had mentioned your half brothers. Have you had any connection to them, or is that something you hope to build in the future as a relationship with them?
Actually, I've had a lot of connection with my half brother Ryan.
Okay.
We actually have met each other for about, let's say, 4 years. We've been meeting each other. I've met their family, they've met ours. Got along really nicely. For my birthday in March, he surprised me by meeting me there. We know each other very well. We like each other, and we like to meet each other, hang out, stuff like that. Our relationship is doing really good.
Sure. Over the years, when your parents had presented you with the option of, either having a visit with your birth mom or writing her a letter or an email, have there ever been times where you haven't wanted that maybe you wanted to take a step back and not pursue a relationship with your birth mom?
No, I would say there is none. There is no really. I wanted to step back and just tell her no. I don't want her in my life.
So you've always kind of wanted that connection?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, growing up as an adoptee, have you ever faced any negativity from whether it's family, friends, community, school? Has anyone ever made you feel different or just anything like that?
For me personally, no. My family, they treat me as if I'm their own. When it comes to friends, some of my friends will ask me how can two white parents have a sort of biracial child? I tell them I'm adopted. They'd be like, oh, okay. And guess that'll be it. They never they sometimes will ask me question about who's the real parent, stuff like that, and I'd happily tell them, but nothing any negative stigma against me.
Sure. Just people who have curiosity.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever had questions growing up as an adoptee? Anything that you wish you would have known, or something you wish that you could understand better about your birth family or your adoption story? Any questions that you may have?
Well, one thing I would like to know is more about my father, but I don't really know much about him.
Okay. Would you say that over the years, your parents have been very receptive to you asking questions, or if you ever had a concern about your adoption story, did you feel free to ask those questions and have those conversations with your parents?
Yeah, they're pretty open about that stuff.
Do you have any advice for whether it's families who are looking to adopt or other adoptees who may be struggling with their story? Do you have any advice about adoption in general?
Well, to the parents, one thing I would say is that basically, because my parents have always told me I've been adopted since as far as I know, and that has turned out good for me. So if I were to give advice to parents, I'd say just do that. Always never try to tell your kid you're a real parent. Always tell them where they're from, but also tell them that you love them and stuff like that, to form a deep bond and connection with them.
Sure. Yeah, we try to educate our families from the moment you bring your baby home from the hospital. You should start talking to them about the fact that they were placed for adoption out of love, and they have biological parents who care about them, and they made this plan for them and not against them, right? So always trying to be honest and transparent. And obviously, as a baby, you don't know the term adoption or birth parent, but if you continuously hear that language, it will eventually click, right? And it will all make sense.
Yeah.
That's kind of the hope. Yeah. Anything else you want to share about your experience with adoption? Something you'd like our audience members to know?
Well, personally for me, adoptions from the heart has been real good. Guess they've set up with my family, and I've been having a wonderful life. So I'm deeply thankful for them for setting me up with them.
Oh,
Picking them.
That's very sweet of you to say, Clayton. Yeah, I mean, Adoptions from the Heart is here to provide support forever, right? So I know your family still holds a very close connection, specifically to Stephanie in our Pennsylvania office, and you guys have participated in a lot of events with the agency over the years, and we're just happy to have you be a part of our AFTH family. Well, thank you so much, Clayton. We appreciate you sharing your story. You are a young adult at this point, and it's just great to hear from an adoptee who's a little bit older, who can share and shed light on your experience being an adoptee. And it sounds like overall you've had a really good life and you have wonderful parents who love and care about you.
Mhm.
That's great. Well, thank you so much, guys. Hopefully Clayton could answer some questions about how adoptees may feel. Obviously, every adoptee is different, and we want to make sure that everyone's feelings are validated. And, you know, Clayton has been just an important piece to us understanding all members of the adoption triad. So thank you to Clayton. Please continue to follow us, and we will see you soon. Thanks so much.